So as I have done it already, so it's showing the requirement already satisfied. So far, so how many of you have been able to reach till this? Uh, is Do anyone have any problem or something like that? You can as well. Okay, great, done. Now what we are doing here is importing all the necessary libraries, and we are giving each libraries alias. You see the small name, small two letter like PD or NPy, SNS, those we call as alias, which are basically used to make the code as easy as possible, because each time writing like pandas or numpy or cbon, you can just directly use the PD, NP, SNS, right? And let me tell you one thing as well. As you can see in the last line, there is from pycaret dot classification import star. So here that asterisk, it's denote that all the files present in the classification library of pycaret, we are importing everything, whatever it is inside. So just press the shift plus enter and it will import all these libraries, right? After that, let us uh, import our dataset as well. We are giving here the short name as tf is equal to pd.read underscore csv, and just hit the shift plus enter. And here you will be able to see our dataset. So as you can see, we are having 88,647 rows and 112 columns, right? Let me tell you, the dataset specifically consists of quantity of dots in the URL, quantity of hyphen in the URL, and quantity of underline, slash, question mark, all sort of some whatever usually present in our URL. There is given the count of that data, right? You could just explore it as well, like, right? If you see any URL, like here you can see on my screen as well, there's a Google Colab research, and then you see that's a slash, then GitHub slash Ayush slash, and then there's a hyphen as well. So basically URL is just, I hope you know the URL, right? So URL consists of all this thing. This thing we called as URL, like its whole thing. So there's a lot of element inside that URL. And what happened in phishing, this URL has a very slight changes. For example, if I am purchasing something from Flipkart, so what would be there if it is a scam? There might be the interchange of two letter, like very small two letter, and rest of the thing will be as same as Flipkart website. You see there's a lot of or even on the Amazon as well. Yes. So Flipkart could be like Flipkart, right? This is the exact spelling, but sometimes it could be like Flipakrt. So there could be like, let me just type it, like, we know the, let's take an example of Amazon then. AMZN. This is the Amazon, right? What the people could do is like just write it down like Amazon, and we see such type of links are circulated on the WhatsApp as well, where they literally write like you are having the 80% discount or like 90% discount on one of the branded products, and we fall for this sort of thing. So so this is what we need to be really well aware of this. And what people like us, or the college student, or the people who are not really well aware of this sort of thing, they fall for this kind of trick. They just try to, oh, there's a offer going on, let me grab those offer. at a small amount and you get scammed, right? So you need to be really very aware of this situation. So the URL consists of lots of different elements, or you can say the characters like hyphen, there's a dot, question mark, slash. So our dataset consists of this sort of thing. You can explore it like this. Moving ahead, let us do some of the statistical operation then. Now what I want to do is like I want to explore the data set in more detail, like in more statistics way. As we are, I hope we are all aware of this thing is that statistics is one of the most important part of the data science or data analysis, right? We need to know what exactly statistics tell us. So what you can do is DF is our data set, right? You can write the describe function and circle inside the print function and just hit the shift plus enter, and here you will be able to see just a second. Hmm. As you can see, there's a given a summary, the count, total count, like there are we are having 88,647 number of rows, so the total count would be same 88,647. Here they have given the summary of each columns in our data set, right? You can see there's a mean value. The mean value is 2.191343 in the quantity of dot in the URL, right? Then there's given the standard deviation as well. Like uh, within the dataset, each value is deviating from mean by 1.235636 digit. There is a minimum value. The most minimum value is given as 1 and the most maximum value is 24. And here you can see there is given 25% and 50% and 75%. These are percentile, and they are commonly known as quartile. Like quartile 1, it consists of 25%. It is also the 50% you see is also known as the quartile 2 or the median. If you have gone through the statistic, you will come to know it's really very easy thing. And then there is a third quartile which is known as which covers up 75% of the data set which have the two value, right? But guys, have you observed there are lots of zero values in it, right? I mean, there shouldn't be so many zero values. I can see here are a lot of zero values, then here in the third column, fourth column. So there's a lot of zeros values are present in our data, which is not a good thing, right? If you want to know how many null we have values, all you can do is null, and then you can use the function sum, and there are you go, right? As you can see, there is a given the length as 1112. Like there's a lot of null values are available in our dataset. Now I want to visualize the dataset, the dataset that we have been working on. Visualize the given dataset, right? What I'm going to use here is SNS Seaborn library as a count plot. Plot, then we need to give the arguments as x is equal to, I want to visualize phishing, and our data, we need to pass the data as df, right? And finally we can use the plt.show, which is going to show us our data. So here the phishing is our target value, because basically we are trying to find target value in the sense y as known as target value. Basically our main motto is like we are going to screen not visible. Guys, let me know if you are able to see my screen or not. Uh, Janvi, what about rest of you? Are you able to see the screen? Just give me a thumbs up or write yes or no. Guys, am I audible? And is the screen visible now? Janvi, are you able to see the screen? Okay, I can see now and here. Okay, great. Janvi, are you able to see the screen? Okay, yes, sir. Okay, got it, got it. Now I want to visualize our data set, like, and yeah, the fishing here, I have taken it from here. I want to let you know that the fishing we are having the column known as fishing. You can see in the last, which is our target variable. This is what we want to know, right? Output, whether website or whether a given particular link is scam or not scam. So that's why I have taken x as a target variable as x is equal to fishing, right? So SNS dot count plot x is equal to fishing, and you have to give the data is equal to df, right? And just press shift and enter. You can see there's a, just let me just minimize a little bit so that you could see it all in once. So I can see now here. Okay, great. Are you able to do up till now, guys? Like, have you seen the plot? You can see there is a very beautiful visualization of our data set. As you can see on the x-axis, there is given the fishing, which is 0 and 1, which signifies whether it is true or false, right? 0 means false and 1 means true. And on the y-axis, we can see the counts, which is up to 60,000, right? So as you can see, we are having data near about 88,000, something like that. So far, uh, the false values consist of 5,000 near about 600 or 700. And here we are having data of scam near about 3,000 and 100 or something like that, right? This is what it denotes. And if you add up the both the lines, then you will get the total number of data set we are having, total number of rows, sorry, right? X is equal to fishing, comma, plt dot show. Yes, exactly. Now, as you can see, I have observed the data, and I could say like not everything even in the data set is useful to me, right? There's a lot of things that might make sense or might not make sense depending on the model, right? So I have sort out some of the things that are not going to help me in my project, right? So you people can try yourself, like you can make the changes and try it out. But I have uh, sort out some of the columns that are not going to help me in any way. So I need to drop some column, right? So all you need to do is that column underscore to underscore drop, and then I'm going to give a list which will consist of all the column names I don't need. As you can see, there is no okay, might be some mistake or something like that. Okay, as you can see, guys, in the dataset there is URL underscore Google underscore index. This is not going to help me in finding whether the link is scam or not scam, whether it is legitimate or not. Like domain Google index, it is not going to help me. So what I want to do is to drop some of the column that are not going to add any meaning to my model, right? So here what I am doing is I have created a list column to drop, and here I am writing all the some of the column name that I don't need in my model. Underscore index, then will underscore index, then server underscore client underscore domain, then ld underscore nt present underscore params answers, then time underscore response, then domain underscore spf, then quantity underscore input under ip result, then name server, then quantity underscore mx underscore server. No, these are not the predefined parameter. These are available. Actually, those are the columns available in our dataset. And what are we doing here is Janvi. We are trying to drop some of the columns that do not add meaning to our data, to our model, right? We want to make the model as efficient as possible, right? And not every information given in the dataset is going to help you to find whether link is legitimate or not, right? You can do it by yourself, like if you don't want to add some of the columns and you felt like some of the columns need to be in there, you can do this as well. Like it just machine learning is all about trying out and see the error and just solving those errors, right? Those are my observation that I have decided those things are not going to help me in any way. That's all. And the final one is URL underscore CNAD shortened. And then finally what we need to do is like df is equal to gf dot drop function is used to basically drop those data set that we don't need to use in our model, right? And then column underscore to underscore drop, and then we are giving access is equal to 1. And as you can see, the code has executed perfectly. That's great. Guys, have you been able to do that till now? The code is given in the chat box as well. If you are unable to see the code, let me maximize the screen as well so you can see, or you can just copy the code from the chat box as well. This is the same code. How many of you have been able to follow up till now? Like, do you have any encounter errors or something like that? Okay, push cursor is done. Okay, Janvi, great. I see the enthusiasm. What about the others, guys? Okay, done. Count me. Piyush Bagre, great. Shall we move ahead then? Okay. Now let's us see how many rows and columns we are having right now, right? This is the important thing. Like we need to make sure whether the columns are dropped or not. So what we can do is that type, sorry, it's not a comment, rows, comma, columns columns is equal to df dot shape, right? And then you can just type print, hey, I want to know how many columns, how many numbers of rows and columns I'm having. So what you can do is like numbers of rows, and then give the space and then just give a comma and type here as rows. And same goes for the column as well, right? Because I want to know both the number of columns and the number of rows. And give the space and write down M and S column and just press the shift and enter, and you can see there's a total number of rows are 88,647, right? And there are near about 101 columns, right? Have you been able to follow up till now? Guys, I have forget to add one more column because there were 12 column I had decided to drop, and as you can see this little mistake. Yes, yes, Pushkar, you are right. Actually, I forget to add one of the columns. That is the quantity of in the domain. Like it doesn't matter whether you are having this much quantity of vowels or consonants in your domain name. So I forgot to add this column, and now what you can do is, okay, let me see. Just a second. I made some mistake somewhere. Let me check once. Wait. Just a second, guys. One. What's the problem is there? It's not. Now I figure it out, guys. I have already dropped those columns, and that's why it's giving the error. Just let me rerun those cells once, right? Sorry for the mistake, guys. Hope you will understand. Like something happened. Sometimes this happen. Silly mistakes. Okay, what we can do here is not right. I'm going to drop that column which I haven't used. I don't want to use in my code, right? It is py underscore vowels vowels underscore domain, and okay, wait, and I need to give the access as well. Okay, I'm going to make the list again. And here I'm going to give it like just delete that extra one. I don't need it at all, and give the access is equal to 1, and yes, we are good to go. And if you rerun this code, and there would be like 100, right? Guys, you can see there's a 100 columns right now in our data set, and before we had nearly like you see is there were 112, right? The total column we were having were 112, and now we are having only 100 columns, right? Have you been able to follow up till now? Okay, great. So the most important thing is going to start from here and onward, the feature engineering, right? So I'm gonna teach you how to use the feature engineering on a given data set. Let me type here as well. Before going forward, I would also like to address, have anybody guessed like why I was facing this sort of error and what was wrong? Like a simple case or something like that. Like, have you ever, like, any one of you have thought, like, what was the problem or something? What might have happened? Because if we see the software engineering or the software field, it's all about like solving the errors, right? How you figure out the error and solve the error. Okay. Okay, Janvi says yes. Chaitan has given the right thing because I had already dropped those columns. So those columns technically did not exist. So that's why it was giving the error. The only column was left was the vowels one. So that's why I make another list where I wrote down the quantity of vowels underscore domain, and then we do the same work again, like df dot drop extra one was the list name, and then the axis is equal to 1. Hope you got it, Janvi. So let's get ahead with the feature engineering. We are going to perform feature engineering. ng on a data set, and we'll show it as well. Right. Let us get ahead then. Here, well, the very first thing I want to do is like I want to make a list of original features, right? So let's make a list of original features as where I'm going to store the original features of the dataset. Just is equal to list, and inside that list I'm going to give the all the columns name, column names where I want to store the original data, right? If you see the originals name, original underscore features, you can see there's a spelling mistake. As you can see on my screen, there are all the 100 columns with their name have been stored inside the name, the list known as original features, right? Now what I want to do is like I want to do certain operation on my data set. So yeah, sometime rerunning again gets the error too, but I want to know the correct reason. Actually, ma'am, what I did was I dropped the column right inside the cell. Let me show you. Over here, you can see I had dropped already those columns, and what I was trying to do was adding those one another column inside it. But basically, if you have dropped already some of the columns, how can you redrop those same column? That was the error. That's the whole reason I made another list where I gave that column name, which was the remaining one. And then we did the same function. Like as you can see, there's a df is equal to df dot drop, where I have given the extra one, and then the axis is equal to 1, right? Sometimes it's solve the error, and sometimes it might give you the error as well. Like I can't be so sure about it. Unless you try, you can't be sure, right? Yes, got it. Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am. So now what I want to do is like I want to convert the data set into the NumPy array, so that working would be really very easy. Future engineering would be really easy. So here we are really going to use the NumPy array, right? So I'm going to give it name as dataset underscore array. Then is equal to then numpy dot array that we have been already imported in the second block, right? And then I'm going to give a data set which was df, right? So what it will do is that it will convert those data set in the form of numpy array where there will be only the numbers. Let me print this stuff as well so that you could have a better look. Print dataset underscore array, and as you can see there's a lot of numbers are there only. This dot dot shows that there are lots of numbers among them as well, right? Now we are going to need one more list called as features underscore indices, MCIES, right? Feature core underscore indices, where I will initialize an empty list, and then I want to find the attribute, right? TTRIB attributes is equal to, I'm going to okay, yeah, great. I'll call you Sri then. Wow, Chaitanya, I can see you are really very attentive over the session. Very good. I did it intentionally, but nobody pointed out. I like that. Come on, yeah. You guys must be sleeping then if you are not able to even check my spelling mistake as well. I thought someone would do something like that, at least. Someone would notify me. Those are the attribute I have considered. Like then this one more. We called it as parameters. Params. Right. So just press shift and enter and you can see we are good to go. One more, we are going to need a new dictionary as well, right? So new underscore data set is equal to a new dictionary. That's an empty dictionary, right? So far, have you done so far? Like, have you followed up, guys? Have you able to follow up till now? Just give me a thumbs up or whatever, like whatever you would like to comment or something like that. That would work. Okay, I see a lot of people are following up. That's great, guys. You are doing very good job. Just keep it up. So here we are going. Look, now what I need to do is I need to find the correct. I need to find the feature that's how quantity in the name and having the attribute as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the for loop. Inside the for loop, I'm going to give the two parameter as index and name. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use enumerate function. Enumerate and then is the spelling wrong, ma'am? Like okay, Shri, sorry. Original features, right? What enumerate function basically help us to iterate two elements at the same time in the loop, right? Here the index represent the index of the current features and the name represent the name of the current feature. So basically we are iterating two things in the same loop at the same time, right? And now I want to see quantity, if the quantity in name and name I want to split such that it will look alike something like underscore, and then I want to add up in the last element, right? That's why we are using the negative index in attribute. Attributes. So it check if the features name contain the substring known as qty, right? Now what I'm going to do, if the condition is true, I want features underscore indices dot append. I want to add those stuff inside features indices, and what would be there, like there would be index and name as well, which is going to be split such that it would look something like that, containing the underscore as well, and the position should be in the last one. And if sorry and if the condition is false, then I want you to do what is the underscore dataset that we have made a library, a dictionary, where I'm going to store the rest of it, like name is equal to data set underscore array of from start to end and index as well. Let me index as well. So I'm gonna write it down here as well so that you people could understand what exactly the code is doing, right? Index, then index current and the name represent same name in the current feature, right? So what we are doing here is that we are iterating index and name in the same loop, and what are they doing? They are representing index and the names at the same time, right? And here what I'm doing is I'm trying to check whether there is given the q t y quantity in this substring, right? Or a ng substring. And then what we are doing here is like, here is the last part of the name is one of the attribute from the attribute list. From the attribute. And what this line is doing is that it's assign the column that doesn't meet the condition to the new dataset, to the new dictionary. Column LUMNS column that won't meet the condition. That is, if the condition is false, to the new dictionary. Or why, right? Let's see what it does. Can someone copy the code and give them as well? Like there might be some mistake in, some might face mistakes as well, errors. Have you been able to follow till now? Okay, let's get ahead then. Guys, can you give me a thumbs up? I hope you are not facing any error or something like that. I have commented out those stuffs as well so that you can understand what exactly is going on. Okay, Shri has given the code as well. That's great. That's great. Let's get ahead then. Now I want to. Now I'm going to need another loop where I will use the index and the attribute in feature underscore indices. Uh, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare if attribute equal to domain. If I'm having the values which is exactly the domain, then I'm going to write another query, another condition where I want to see if the quantity and char plus or attribute matches, and if it is so, if it is not in new dataset dot keys, then I would use new dataset because I want them, and then I'm going to initialize the new dataset as qty. The things that are not in our dataset we are going to assign a new, and then we are going to give the same name as attribute, and then I'm going to, as of now I'm going to initialize them as zeros, rows, right? And if it does not, then I'm going to use new dataset as f, and then qty underscore char underscore attribute, and here I'm going to add the values that were not present earlier because we have initialized them as zeros, right? So dataset underscore array, and then I want to add all the indexes. So let me write it down here as well so that you would be able to understand this more clearly. What this line does is this line iterates, it's iterating over the features index features underscore indices list, which contain the pairs of indices and attribute. Let me write it here as well so that you could understand as well, which contains pairs of index and attributes, right? I hope you all know that we have made a list known as attributes. So basically when I talk about the attribute, we are talking about these four values, right? These four. Then what we are doing here is that it check if the key having the name as this, like quantity underscore character, and exist in the new dictionary. Like this line of code is trying to find whether the quantity which qty underscore character and whatever would be there in our attribute, like those four values you could say from here, right? If those four values, let me copy this. What we are doing here is that we are checking if those four values in the attributes are there or not, and are not there. Like this is what I have written in the new underscore dataset. And this situation is true, if the key does not exist, what it will do is that it will create a new key in the new dataset with the same name. It create new key in the new underscore dataset with the name. What was the name? It was, huh, this was the exactly name, like q. I'm giving here example, like it would be like qty underscore. What's are our different attributes here? Okay, like it would be char and then underscore url. This sort of stuff would be working over there, right? So just press shift and enter. Okay, dataset. There's a mistake. Let me check it once. I might have made domain. If attribute in domain for index and attribute in the feature indices, right? And then what I want to do is to attribute would equal to domain, and if quantity character attribute is not in new dataset dot keys, then what I want to do is to find that quantities of character in the attribute and just give it as numpy 0 and underscore new dataset. I want to add character underscore attribute plus equal to dataset underscore array index comma. What's wrong then? Error. Okay, let me check once again. Guys, can you spot the error? Like, I'm gonna check it out, but I don't know. Can you spot the error? I'm giving you the chance. Come on, like, you're going to have a chance to solve the question. In the last statement, like, where are you suggesting? At quantity underscore char. Okay, yeah, exactly. That's great, guys. You people are just amazing, like, seriously. Actually, I have to just check it once. Like, let me see the dataset as well. Actually, there would be the underscore. Like, there I have made a little bit a mistake, I guess, because there's a, you can see here the quantity is given and then there's underscore and then there is a character something and then there is again underscore. So I guess gonna I need to add those underscore as well because it's not going to work properly. Let me add the underscore here, because in a column, as you can see, there's a underscore in every after quantity. There is one underscore, and then there is one specific character, and then there is again underscore, and then there is attribute, right? So this is what we are going to need, and now you're good to go. Yes, finally we have made we are going to make a new dataset name as df1, where we are going to use pd.pandas. It is a pandas alias, and then there is data frame. Make sure guys you type D and F as a capital, because it might not work if you type it in the small case, right? Dataset, and I want to convert that dictionary into a new dataset, right? And I also want its type to be integer, right? So what I'm going to use as type function, which is going to change my data into the integer, right? So I'm gonna write it here as well, like to convert the data into the integer data type. That's why we are using as type function, right? Now, as you can see, there were a lot of zero values present in our dataset, right? We took the summary, and you can see there was zero values. You can see in each column there was a lot of zeros values, right? And I don't want the zero values, uh, and I don't want the negative values as well, like negative value which is more negative than 1. So what I'm going to add here is that df1, where I want df1 should be greater than -1, right? And if there is a value which is more less than -1, then assign it to -1, right? I'm going to write it down here as well. If the condition which state that condition condition which state that if the value is less than -1 is true, I want to change that element with -1. I want to change that element with -1, right? And finally what we are going to do is that we are going to see our dataset. You see, domain length, domain input, as we have done and we have specify our attribute. You can see there's a lot of changes we have made are reflecting very perfectly. You guys, do you remember there I was written here first underscore and the rest of were not, so it would have been like their domain underscore in and then IP. Why are we changing to -1? Ma'am, sorry, Shri, we don't need the values which are much less than -1. That's why, because those negative value aren't going to help us anywhere, and it is a classification problem. So we don't need values much lesser than that. That's why we are what we are doing over here is we are seeing if there is any value which is less than -1, we are going to change it to -1. Like the values which are less than -1, we are going to change it to -1. Like what could be much lesser than -1? Do you understand? Like, are you able to clear your doubt, Shri? Are you able to clear your doubt? Like, or should I explain again? Like, if you want, I will explain again as well. if there's any value which is less than -1, what we are doing here is we are replacing those values with just -1. Okay, let's move ahead then. After doing all this feature engineering, it's finally over, the most hectic work. And now what we are going to do is we are going to see if our changes are right or not. Like, I want to see the statistics of the of let's write here our data set. What I'm going to do here is that print df1, which was the new name of our dataset, the new created dataset basically. And then I'm going to use the describe function and just hit shift plus enter. And guys, are you able to see those changes we have made so far? You see this no value which is much less than -1, we have replaced it with them, right? Have you been able to follow up till now? Like, in the whole data there is only -1 and not, there might be some of the values, like I want to make sure it shouldn't be. Sometimes happens there are some of the minus values within the data set, like you can't tell, right? So I wanted to make sure whether there shouldn't be any minus value which is less than -1. That's why I did that. If you don't want to do, you can just skip that part as well. How can you have 47 column instead of 32? Okay. uh Chaitanya, can you share the code? They are having like 47 column instead of 32. 47 column instead of 32. No worries, sir. If you are facing a lot of issues, then I'll show the collab as well. Pushkar, how can you have 31 columns? I think you might have dropped one more columns by mistake then. Just why don't you share your code in the group? We'll figure it out. Just post the problem in the WhatsApp group. Just go ahead. One of our member will definitely solve the problem. And what about the rest of the people? Are you having any difficulties? I got 31 columns. How can you having 31 47 columns? Like, we'll share the code then. If the problem still persists, we'll share the code. I'll share my collab as well so that you can compare and see where the problem is going on. Because debugging is very important as well. Shall we move forward? We are, getting out of time, running out of time, basically. I'm sorry, but we are running out of time. Now's the best part. Like, guys, you will love this part. Like, what I'm going to do here is setting up data. Yeah, you are right. If you are having 32 columns, you are right. Setting up the data for modeling, right? All you need to do is just write a simple code where we are using setup function and then we are giving passing data as gf1, right? And then our target, what is our target? Our target was to see if it is phishing or not. Then I'm writing here as phishing column name shing, and that's it. That's the little bit of code is going to make wonderful things. I'm going to write it here as well, like what it is the target variable is, here is phishing, SHIMG, which we want to build model, right? Just press shift and enter and you will see the wonders. Like, you see, there's a very beautiful description is given over here, right? The session ID, then the target, right? The target is phishing. You see there's a target type. Can anyone tell me like why the target type is binary? Like, there must be some reason, right? Anyone just take a guess or something like that? Exactly, Piyush. You are right. Yes, we are having only two classes here, 0 and 1, which indicate whether the site is whether a link is phishing or not, like legitimate or not, or whether it's scam or not. So that's why it's written as target type as binary. And you can see there's a transform data, original data shape, and everything is written. And the most important thing is we have done the pre-processing, right? As you can see the highlighted column, there is written true. Some might not be able to see because it's too much highlighted though, but it's okay. Like, I hope you are able to see. Now what are we going to do here is that we are going to compare and select like the best data model. Guys, have you ever wondered like I'm having the data, I have pre-processed the data, but what algorithm should I be using so that I can get more accuracy, right? It is a hectic thing. We can't tell just by judging the data whether this algorithm is going to run and give me like 100% error, sorry, 100% accuracy, or this algorithm is going to work well or not, right? Because there are a lot of algorithms are given. It's become hectic. Have you ever think like that, like, oh no, I need to learn all the algorithms and then I will have to see uh, whether each algorithm works better on my data or not? Isn't it hectic and time consuming as well? Don't you think so? There must be something that would be able to help us sort out this sort of thing, right? I bet some of you might be thinking the same. Like, I used to think the same, to be honest. Like, I'm a lazy person, so I will like, if I'm having the data, I will have to do pre-processing. It's okay. You need to do the pre-processing once, but after pre-processing, you will have to train on each different model. Like, we are having regression model, naive Bayes, rich classifier, logistic regression, k-neighbor, HVM, right? We are having a lot of algorithm. So here the best thing about the PyCaret is that I'm going to use the best underscore. Have you guys? Yes, exactly. There are numerous algorithm, and if I'm going to build a model on each algorithm, isn't it going to take a lot of time? Because nobody care. If you are really working in the industry, nobody cares. If you have got the deadline, you will have to do it in time, right? So far, have you guys able to do till now? Because I'm going to show you the best part of this coding, like this event, the best part. Trust me. Just give me a thumbs up at least. Yeah, I can see one thumbs up only. Two, okay, three, four, five. Yeah, that's the spirit, man. I like it. Six, seven, eight. Right. So what I'm going to write here is I want the best model. I want the best model which is going to work on my dataset as best accuracies as possible, right? What I'm going to do is that I'm going to use this function known as compare model, and just you are good to go. Okay, sorry, this is spelling mistake, I guess. Compare model is not defined. Oh, what's happened? And you'll see it will start, you know, finding the best algorithm for you. It will train each and algorithm. Your dataset is being trained on each and algorithm. It will take a time, but yeah, it will go through. You'll have to wait for some time because it take a lot of computation, I guess. Janvi, that's totally depends on your internet connection and your system as well. Because what we are doing here is it is training our dataset on each and algorithms. Actually, my computer, I guess it's working slow or something. I'm not so sure, but it does take time. Like just 5 minutes there. Is it comparing each model? No, actually, what it is doing is that it is training on each algorithm and giving us accuracy, like the prediction. Like as you can see in the top, there is given the decision tree classifier. It has trained the data on decision classifier and see if the accuracy is good or not, like how much the accuracy it is giving. It is so amazing that it literally when you passes the data, it do the feature engineering by itself as well, like it's handle none values uh, with mean or median depending upon the dataset. It split the dataset into the training and testing as well, and do most of the work by itself. That's why I told you like PyCaret, it's automate the machine learning models. Like it helps us a lot. You don't even need to train and uh, split the data and train and test and all sort of thing. As you can see so far, so now the random forest is having the most accuracy, 0.9642. Yeah, exactly, this is mind blowing. Like you don't need to do all sort of stuff. You just need to prepare the data as good as possible and just hand it over. He will do a lot of things for you. All we need to do is just see which algorithm is having the more accuracy and just pick this algorithm. That's it, you're done. Like you don't need to do a lot of stuff. We are almost done, I guess. Like we'll be done by 2 or 3 minutes, I hope so. Yeah, so far so exactly. The random forest looks good. Let's see if some other algorithm beats the random forest or not. I guess they just wanted to save our time. So, like, because when you prepare the data, there are a lot of algorithms available, machine learning algorithms, you can say. So, so I don't want to waste my time on training each an algorithm and then see whether it is going to give me the best accuracy or not. Yeah, it is acceptable. Now, like they have make it available for us. Why would it not be acceptable? You should use this technique in the other algorithms as well. I mean, in other projects as well, because it helps you a lot. Nobody would be able to say that, why don't you use this algorithm and that algorithm? Have you tried this algorithm or something like that? Oh, that's great. It seems my system is working very slow then. Are there website where no one can are there website where one can get dataset just to practice on? Yeah, there's a lot of websites available, and I would recommend you the Kaggle. Kaggle is the best place where you can get all the dataset as well as uh, you can just see the problem statement. There are some of the best problem statement given. Then you will be having the what what do we call the data set, and there is a similar notebook works over there. Like if you want to straight go ahead to Kaggle, don't want to download the data and just want to practice over there, you can do this as well. Like Kaggle is one of the best place, and the one of the best thing is that you can see the other people's submission as well. Like if you are facing some kind of difficulty or want to check out someone else code, you can see that as well over there. uh, Sorry, it's taking a lot of time. I think it would be done by soon, like 2 minutes or something. . 78%. Come on. Let me check the internet connection as well. Like, Well, I'm sorry, but it shows XGBoost. I think the XGBoost was should have been shown. Okay, we'll figure it out. Don't worry, Shri. Like whatever the rest of the people have, what algorithm is showing for you people? I wanna know. Just type it out. Is the accuracy showing the same like 0.9649 for RF? Shri? Okay, Piyush got the right answer, like extreme gradient boosting, same as me. I hope the others got the same answer as well. Finally, what we can do is that prediction is equal to, I wanna predict, sorry, we will have to, what we will have to do is to fine tune the hyperparameter as well. In order to do that, just type tune underscore model and then use the tune function, which is known as tune model. Here we have taken as best model, and then I need only single iteration because I don't want to waste time. My system is already working very slow. I don't know the reason though. And then I want the best F1 score, right? And after that, I hope you people know what F1 is. Basically, F1 score is commonly used for the performance metrics in binary classification tasks. So here we are doing the binary classification. That's why we are using this. It will take a little bit of time. And I would also like to tell you about it aims to find the best combination of hyperparameter for the model, right? And hyperparameter are basically they are set prior to the training of a machine learning algorithm, like the one we learned in the very second session where we discussed about the gradient descent algorithm, where we use hyperparameters such as learning rate. You see, there was a term known as learning rate, and which is denoted by alpha. So these are the hyperparameter. We set their values before initializing. So it is trying to find the best hyperparameters combinations. Yes, exactly. If you people have done with this cell already, just go ahead and type this line. I'm going to show you like PTI1 predictions is equal to score model, and then just go ahead and type tune underscore model and just pass the data as df1. Guys, if you have done with this cell, I mean if you have run this cell, you just go ahead and code this line as well, and we are done. Like you can see the prediction by yourself. We'll get the best in that prediction container. We will get the best um, machine learning model, that is the extreme gradient boosting. Just go ahead. 0.9764. Yeah, that's great. And here we are done. Um, Here we are done with the project. What we are going to do for you people is that we are going to deploy this model in Flask as well, so that you could understand how exactly a machine learning model is deployed, right? We are going to use the Flask framework, and it's going to take a lot of time. So what we will do is that we'll make a YouTube video and we'll share the link on your WhatsApp group, so that you people can do the same thing, like just follow the instruction and make your own application, web app. That's way you will be able to understand your role as well, like in data industry, how we make the model and pass it to the someone, but what sort of stuff we should, follow guidelines or something like that. I see the difference. Accuracy, yeah, 0.9, sir. So the difference accuracy is getting because I think we people have missed some of the columns in the data set, I guess. That's the only reason I see. But no worry, I will share my Google Colab file. See, my machine is walking very slow. Like I don't know what's the reason right now. But we are done with the code. This was the final code. I hope you people enjoy this session and find it insightful, and you'll be able to use those code uh, in your new model. Code on GitHub, like we are. Yes, sir, exactly. You'll have to submit the. Sorry, the connection is not working very well over here. Like I don't know why the problem. Uh, okay, what Yash can Carrot be used create neural network model? Yes, I don't think so, because neural networks, they really need a lot of computation, like really really heavy computation, and I don't think it would be able to train your dataset on each and different algorithms, right? But I think it's worth trying. Like there's not something wrong in trying as well. Can we submit the final code on GitHub like we have been doing for the past this? Yes, exactly. You have to submit the code same as you have been doing till now. Processing gets slower, experience both. Yeah, maybe this could be the reason. TensorFlow. Okay, sure. Oh yes. I don't know. I really facing a lot of trouble these days with this machine. Time to switch. I guess it's time to switch to the new machine. Yes, you can, but you need to face. Yeah, this is exactly, and I think you will going to need a lot of computation as well, because neural network takes a lot of time and computation to be trained. But I think you should give it a shot. Like there's nothing wrong. This is how we done, and we are done with the session, guys. If you are having any problem or something, you see, uh, you have to upload. Guys, you will have to submit the code as well. Here you can just download IPNB file and then just rename it and submit it as you were doing till now. There is no submission folder. I guess there is a submission folder. Let me check once. Okay, let me check one. There is only data set. Okay, let me contact my team. Just give me a second. Actually, my team is working on it. Just give me a second and they are uploading the submission folder over there. Does anyone have any doubts or something like that? Yeah, it would be done in 5 minutes. Like, don't worry. Submission folder would be done by 3 or 5 minutes, not much more than that. Anyone, do you have any doubts or something, or should we conclude here? How do you find my learning? I mean, teaching. Were you able to get all the stuff or not? Like, did you face any difficulties? Let me know. I'll try to improve that as well. Okay, now you can check this given the submission folder. Just check it out once and let me know. Before going there, you will have to, synchronize the changes. Yes, those who cannot see the changes, you will have to first synchronize your fork and then you will be able to get it. I appreciate it. Like, facilitation was perfect. Okay, then. Bye bye, everybody. I hope you learned something new and will apply as soon as possible. Like, just don't stop here, no matter what, right? And have a good day. Bye bye. Good night.